So welcome everyone to Friday Study Circle. So let us pick the page out where we were exactly last time. I think Badalji would remember maybe. We were somewhere, I think, on adverse forces. You are muted, Badalji. You are muted.
Fear is an impurity we have covered.
Okay.
And so fear, a lack of trust. We'll start today.
Okay. Thank you. Yes. Yes. Yes, got it. So here it is page number 65 on Sunlit path.
Yes.
So let us start. So then if anyone would like to read.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll start.
Yes.
Fear, a lack of trust. Why does one feel afraid? I suppose it is because one is egoistic. There are three reasons. First, an excessive concern about one's security. Next, what one does not know always gives an uneasy feeling, which is translated in the consciousness by fear. And above all, one does not have the habit of a spontaneous trust in the divine. If you look into things sufficiently deeply, this is the true reason. There are people who do not even know that exists, but one could tell them, in other words, you have no faith in your destiny, or you know nothing about grace. Anything, whatever you may put it as you like, but the root of the matter is a lack of trust. If one always had the feeling that it is the best that happens in all circumstances, one would not be afraid.
Yeah, thank you. So yes, anyone, any thoughts, any reflections are welcome.
Yeah, Monica. So this looks very simple. Mother has written it, but we most of the time we do not even know that we don't have trust in the divine. Only that fear, which is very big in front of us. So Mother has put it very nicely that there are people who do not even know that exists. So here, that refers to which one? The fear or the divine? It's capital
T.
So it must be divine, no?
Yes.
So we are, as you always say, we are hooked into that fear one by one, and finally it becomes a big chain. And afterwards, if we look back and see, then how much we have gone into the fear, we can understand. So beautiful, so beautiful. And if one always had the feeling that it is the best that happens in all circumstances, one would not be afraid. I think this is what we have to put it in the bold letters and stick somewhere where we can see. No, so beautiful, but it's nice to read, but very difficult to practice. By our ignorance or by our practice of getting hooked into the fear, we just go into the fear very nicely. Thank you. Beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, anyone else? Okay, so if not anything, we can just then go over the lines one by one. Is that okay? Or is there anything at the moment?
Yeah, I just wanted to add. Mother says the third reason. Uh, there are people that who do not even know that exists, but one could tell them. In other words, you have no faith in your destiny, or you know nothing about grace. Anything, whatever you may put it as you like, but the root of the matter is a lack of trust. So here, like Upanishad, Tattvamasi, thou art that. So that was actually she has put in one reason itself, and that is the this is the true reasons. That's what Mother says. This is the true reasons, because we do not know who am I. But after that disciple came back from the guru, then father asked that what did you learn? Can you define Brahma and all? So then Siling said, this is the. Then he asked father, please tell me. So he says, Tattamasi, thou art that, you are that. So once we know that I am that, so then all the fear and all everything goes off. There is no question of fear. The question is of the recognition that we are not in a position to recognize myself. Who am I? So that is the main reason for the fear what we have. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a very serious matter actually. I feel that first of all, we don't know who we are, and secondly, see, right now we may be talking, reading about these lines, right? And it seems like we don't know who we are, and that's why we are afraid. But the moment the session is over, we are just back into our daily patterns, and nothing really truly, exponentially changes. I'm not 24 hours of the day. I'm not hankering after who am I, I really want to know that. No, so we are not like that. We are not doing that, so we may, I don't know what it is. Maybe ignorance. That is why they call it ignorance, blindness. Because it's like a dullness. Which comes immediately. I may feel very invigorated with the words of the mother, and maybe it urges me, pokes me from within that no, I want to find out who am I. But the effort and discipline that we have to put in truly finding out who we truly are, maybe I feel that we are not ready for it most of the time. It's a lot of discipline, lots of hard work, which all of the yogis and seers have done. But we feel that, I don't know, maybe we feel that it's too easy, or maybe something else becomes too important, and that goes in the backdrop, in the background. And I feel that things which are very pleasant, like friends appreciating us and people talking good things about you, these kind of things take over us. सो वही हमारे लिए एनफ हो जाते हैं, हमको लगता है ठीक ही तो चल रहा है यार, सब खुश है मेरे से, है ना, फ्रेंड्स मेरे को लाइक करते हैं, चलो बाकी एक दो लोग नहीं लाइक करते तो क्या हो गया, मेरे फ्रेंड्स मेरे को पसंद करते हैं, कोई लोग हैं जो चाहते हैं कि मैं उनके लिए काम करूं, पीपल अप्रिशिएट, पीपल वांट टू वर्क विद मी। तो वो क्या होता है कि जो मेन मुद्दा होता है वो बैकड्रॉप में चला जाता है। ये हम सबके साथ होता है, टाइम टू टाइम। So I feel that this matter of finding out who we truly are and connecting back with our true consciousness, if I can use that word, it's a lot. It's a kind of thing demanding lots of discipline, lots of effort, And that's why they say that it takes lifetimes and lifetimes to become a Buddha. It's not an easy job, because the easiest most is to slip into our old patterns immediately after the discussion is over. And having said that, even that doesn't mean that we should not have these discussions or we should not read these words, because drop by drop, like, it changes. Something changes in our consciousness, and then one day, one fine day, maybe not in this lifetime, another, we are ready for putting more effort and more effort, and yeah, become more sincere about it. Yeah. So yeah, thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, one thing on what Captain said, right? Tattvamasi. Out of the four Mahavakyas of the Vedas, like the Upanishads, that's the highest, right? The last thing that he finally, the Shishya says after Guru has told him that, finally he says, yes, thou art that, I am that. But I think here, in which what we just read in the passage, we are even right now, that is very highest. We are just talking about basic thing. Like we are that in that we are saying, I am that. So I have to have complete trust in me. But right now, what mother is saying, you don't have spontaneous trust in the divine. So it's still outside. So what you shared, I feel, is another many steps higher, that when I can fully, without any question, feel that oneness, feel that I am that, not even oneness, I am that is I am that. And right now it's still a two process thing, right? That I love the divine, I trust the divine, I know divine exists. And mostly, a lot of us have either a mental thing, right? That I should not fear because mother is there. I should not do this because, this is how we kind of, a lot of us try to tell ourselves that it's okay. I can be fearless, but it's a process. It takes something on my part, but for a lot of, especially the mystics and all, it's spontaneous, right? Like there's so many examples, so many beautiful stories of mystics that, but mother is there, why should I fear for Mother Kali, right? There's this beautiful boat example we have shared so many times, that what will my mother, my mother will take care of me. So this spontaneity, I think, is the key here, that yes, we know, we trust, and yet it's not spontaneous, it's not a living trust in me. I have to again and again remind me. So yeah, just wanted to share.
Yeah, I just want to clarify that I was not talking about some higher state. I don't know how it felt to you that
No,
I'm
no,
talking.
I said I'm referring to what Captain said. Yours was different.
Yeah,
Like
so I
the
was not talking
Tattvamasi
about
aspect.
that. Yes, we are not that,
Huh.
but I was sharing that to become that, like Captain shared Tattvamasi, and it's beautiful to even think about that. But the thing is that the effort we have to put in order to unite with who I truly am, that we are not ready to put, because it takes really, really a lot of effort. I personally feel that it takes from my end a lot of discipline. Otherwise, the default is my older patterns, which is, for example, fear, in this case that we are reading. But the effort that I have to put, I say that I want to do that, but I don't put the required effort. So I was pointing towards that. I thought maybe it was confusing. Yeah. Yeah. Anybody else? Anything?
Uh, like Ramakrishna Paramahansa used to ask everybody, what is the purpose of our life? What for we came here, taken birth as a human being? So he used to telling that to realize God is our only aim. There is no other. So to explain this in very simple Bengali, he explained, uh, if you want to realize God, he says the first thing is that if you can realize yourself, who are you, that is the realization of God. Then you will be able to understand who is God. First, you realize yourself. You know who are you. So if you know that, then that is the realization of the God. It will take place. So to do this, he is telling that if you say, I am the body. So are you your hand? If you say, uh, I am the body, I. So I is what? I is what? Whether your head or eyes or ear or nose or your blood, what you say? You say it is like onion. You carry on peeling one layer by one layer. So your this body goes, and one layer the mind goes. Your one layer your ego goes. So you carry on peeling, peeling. Finally, what remains? He's telling that nothing remains actually. You carry on peeling, 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 and nothing is left. Only that Chaitanya. He says Chaitanya, the Chaitanya that remains. So that is me actually. So what Upanishad or in Ved, it has been told that capital T, that. So that is the start actually. So to realize actually the moment you say why you're closing your eyes and do this, do that, and all to realize God, actually we are not finding God. God is not outside. God is here only, residing in me. This is the drawing room. The Ramakrishna Paramahansa says, my body is the drawing room of the God. So he's here, but we are unnecessarily searching here, there, and all these places. You're going to mountain, going to seaside, seashore, and this and that. You can search it. What Manikaji says that this is not a very easy task. So it may take whole life or maybe 2 lives together, things like that. But we should be mentally prepared. What we are enjoying is in the practical life, it is easily available to everybody. And we say that that is life. This is life. God has given me life to enjoy my life. So this is our enjoyment. So we are doing this. The moment the session is over, then we go back to the same happiness. Happiness prevails. But actually, to know myself itself is the sadhana. So we have to spend a lot of energy and a lot of time and a lot of prayers and we have to do work hard, very 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 hard. Then probably we'll be able to understand actually who am I and what is the purpose of my coming here. Thank you.
Can go over the lines again, maybe, and take more reflections. Why does one feel afraid? Mother says, I suppose it is because one is egoistic. There are 3 reasons. First, an excessive concern about one's security. Next, what one does not know always gives an uneasy feeling, which is translated in the consciousness by fear. And third, and above all, one does not have the habit of a spontaneous trust. So, this is what I think Taru was pointing at, that we don't have that spontaneity in our trust. And maybe we see that to some people it comes very naturally, but to most of us it does not. And our task is to cultivate it. And those of us who may have a certain degree of spontaneous trust in the divine, that yes, I know the universe is for me and not against me, so whatever happens, one can take it in stride. It may appear that those people have that naturally, but we don't know what previous cultivation of habits they may have done in previous lifetimes, which is not right now in front of me. So everything requires effort. And even now in front of me, for those people for whom it comes very naturally, or they may say that, oh, this kind of spontaneous trust I have from the starting when I was a child. But they must have done some previous sadhana, some previous cultivation, because these all the things, these are, we accumulate more and more causes and conditions, and that is why they manifest. So the coming back to the first one, Mother says, I suppose it is because one is egoistic. So just taking the little crux of the matter, that as long as I consider my whole self to be this little me, I am egoistic. And then there will always be a struggle that I have to save this little me from whole of the world. Things which are not good, things which are against me, things which can harm me, because this is little me, and I have to save this little me. So this is what is egoistic. I suppose it is because one is egoistic, because we believe, we have trust, we have spontaneous trust here that I am this little me. We don't doubt it, that am I this little me or is there something more to me? We don't doubt it. But divine, we doubt every time. But we don't doubt that why am I believing so rigidly that this is me and that's it? How am I so sure? So that is egoism. And then Mother explains that there are three reasons. First, an excessive concern about one's security. So we can't help it. So as long as I consider myself this little me, I will be concerned about my security, because there is whole of the world around me which is not me. Now that not me can harm me anytime, because this is little me. So it is impossible that I am not insecure when I am feeling a little ego. It comes as a byproduct with egoism. And that is why we see, not only in our own sadhana, we may see as gradually, the ego takes a back seat, we see that we also slowly become more trusting, more supple, and we can take circumstances as they come. Like, earlier we may throw a lot of drama when we were young, over every situation which was not according to my preference. But as we grow, if we are truly growing in consciousness, then we see that the dramas become lesser and lesser, and we say that okay, whatever it is there, we will go through it, because we know that we learn through these things, and nobody is harming me. These are the situations and experiences which I have to go through, and I learn through it. Nobody is harming me. So slowly, I think gradually, for most of us, maybe not all of us, it happens that we are not then concerned very majorly about our security. Then second point Mother shares next, what one does not know always gives an uneasy feeling, which is translated in the consciousness by fear. Now this we all have experienced in our life, that wherever we have to slip out of our comfort zones, we have insecurity, we have fear. If I have to travel in a train with a friend who I know, then as if I am the king of that train, like, oh, we will enjoy and have a good time and whatever. If I have to travel alone all by myself, and I'm doing that for the first time, then it is not possible that in the beginning insecurity or fear won't come, because I'm slipping out of my comfort zones. I don't know those people. I knew my friend, but my friend is not with me. So I'm surrounded with people who I don't know, and I don't know how they may behave. So when we don't know, the little logical mind, which is our world, actually our world runs on our logical mind, that becomes very insecure, because now it doesn't know how to make sense. And without making sense, it doesn't feel easy. So Mother says that when one does not know, always it gives an uneasy feeling, which in our consciousness gets translated as fear. So I'm feeling like something in my tummy is regurgitating, or some kind of a fear I'm feeling, and not a very nice feeling. I may skip my meal. I may feel that, oh, पहले एक बार पहुंच जाऊं तभी जाके चैन लूंगी और खाना वाना खाऊंगी, क्योंकि अभी तो नहीं खाया जाएगा. I am so insecure, like that. So again, this is also a byproduct of that starting egoistic concern. So if I consider myself a limited ego, first I will be insecure, I will have concern about my security. Second, I will have uneasiness whenever things are happening which are kind of a new happening to me. And then third point, mother shares three reasons. Above all, one does not have the habit of a spontaneous trust in the divine. Mother could have used another word in place of habit. But because mother is using habit, and we know that habits can be cultivated. So we have bad habits. Right now, I don't have a spontaneous trust in the divine. What am I going to do? With the power of my thoughts, with the power of affirmations in my mind, whenever a negative thought or feeling comes in of insecurity, I'm going to transmute it, and I'm going to say to myself, I know mother is taking care of me and I'm taken care of. I know I may not know how these things are happening and how to make sense of it, but I know that I am taken care of. So we affirm, we make a positive habit, and we negate the negative habits that we have. This mother has repeatedly shared, and mother shares this as power of thought and visualization and imagination. So by that we can cultivate better habits, and we must, because if we can't change our habits, then what is the point of being a human being? If we want to change, if we are convinced that I don't want to change it, I'm happy to be insecure, because we have a taste of insecurity. It gives a sense of self. So if I'm happy to feel afraid, many a time we share, in fact here only we were reading कि कुछ लोग अपना वो एक सेंस ऑफ सेल्फ मिलती है उनको बोल के कि यार तेरे को पता है मेरे को इतना डर लग रहा था, इतना डर लग रहा था. सो इट काइंड ऑफ गिव्स यू अ सेंस ऑफ सेल्फ कि मजा आ रहा है ऐसी बातों के बारे में. तो जब तक उसमें मजा आ रहा है तो फिर ऑफ कोर्स नथिंग इन मी वांट्स टू गेट रिड ऑफ दैट इनसिक्योरिटी. बट जब मजा आना खत्म हो जाता है, देन वी आर कन्विंस्ड दैट नहीं, समथिंग हैज टू चेंज. या यस बात.
When Taruji was saying about the spontaneous, so I was remembering in nuclear physics. So we are trying to understand the spontaneous from the radioactive substances that alpha, beta, gamma rays are coming out. And so the professor was explaining that if you are trying to heat it, but there will be no stoppage of the coming out of that alpha rays or beta or gamma rays, whatever. So it's a continuous process. You cool it, it will be there. You heat it, it will be there. So in any cases, that is the spontaneous. You cannot stop it at any moment, whether you are happy or that you are sorry or anything of this nature. So here the spontaneous, the mother says that it is a continuous process. So anytime and every time, 7 into 24, every time spontaneously we are feeling the divine presence within me. So that was, I was remembering about that spontaneity means there is no gap in between. And Ramakrishna Paramahamsa is connected with the oil. When you are pouring oil in a kadai or something, so that oil, in between the oil, that this thing, there is no gap in between. But when you are pouring water, there may be a gap in between. But in case of oil, there is a continuous flow. There is no air bubble inside. So the something like that spontaneous means it's a continuous process. Whether I'm very happy, it is there, and whether I'm very sorry, it is there. So that every time it will continue with any fluctuations of the mind, whether I'm sad or whatever may be the condition of the mind. So that is the spontaneity actually. So I was remembering about when Taruji was explaining about the spontaneous. Thank you.
Anything more here? Anything?
Yeah, the first thing that you were just, elaborating on the first sentence where you were speaking about ego, the sense of little me. Just from looking at myself, I've seen that this feeling or this belief that somehow gets embedded in us, I don't know when, that it's me against the world. Like I have to protect myself, or even from close people, or even from strangers, like you were sharing. There is something that I have to, I mean, there's this thing that, you know, how it's like the world is for you and not against you. Somewhere in our upbringing or in the society, like as a collective thought, I think this is embedded that you have to watch out. You better take care. You better see where you're going. You better see what you're doing, what you are choosing. How will you take care of your life? Like this, it's, I think, and this is kind of returning home also, right? That I am being taken care of. This was a false belief that appears to me so natural, right? That अरे अपना ख्याल रख रहे हैं, देख के चल रहे हैं, हमें बोला था सड़क पे राइट देखो, लेफ्ट देखो, फिर राइट देखो. You know, all those things we just somehow take it in that the world is unsafe. Everything around me I have to watch out for. Not, we don't do it very consciously maybe, but subconsciously those things happen, that what would be a better way, what would be a safer way. So just this thing, it's such a small thing that the world is not against you, right? It's supporting you, and we've seen this also so often. But sometimes I feel it has to be hammered in, like any time. Like at times, you know, I go for walks at night, and there are a lot of small foxes around. You know, they keep going like small puppies, and yet they are a bit unpredictable. Like you don't, because I am not very familiar with foxes. So every time I move out, I have been observing this. I want to step in the direction where there could be more cars, there could be more. And then I have to stop myself and ask me that why? Why should we turn left? Why not right? And then I see some, you know, something in me saying, you know, because there might be a family of, and so what? You know, it's like, I just want to say that this thing I feel has to be held on to very strongly. It doesn't naturally come, at least talking about myself, because the other subconscious thing has very deep roots, and it has to, I mean, it takes time to keep pulling out, pulling out, pulling out. Because I was very surprised when I heard myself say that, oh, but there are foxes there, for example. Like it was a surprise that still you would, but and it was, yeah, I think I'm just blabbering now, but I was surprised.
Yeah, I think that's why Sri Aurobindo shares that every moment there is a choice. Every moment there is a choice. And then he shares that being an Aryan is putting effort to make that choice. So what you were sharing actually, falls in resonance, that we have to put effort, like the word that you use, hammered. you know so when I'm putting effort, it actually, I feel a lot of resistance when I'm putting that effort, because it goes against my older habit, and yet something in me knows that this is the right choice, that it expands you. So Sri Aurobindo shares, when he talks about who is an Aryan, he shares that being an Aryan is a right choice every moment, and choice between that which reveals the Godhead within us, and the other part is that which masks the Godhead in us. So if I face my fear, I am actually exposing the Godhead within me. I'm revealing it, I am unmasking it. And if I shrink in fear, then I am masking that Godhead within. So facing fears, again, Mother has said enough on it. And also, I had shared yesterday something very nice I came across. So there was a Buddhist nun, Machig Labdron. She was a famous olden time teacher also. And her Lama shared with her 5 points. And when I heard of these 5 points, I said, these are actually enough for a lifetime. We don't need any more points after this. So first point he says, confess your hidden faults. Second, approach what you find repulsive. तो जिस गली में लग रहा है कि नहीं एवर्जन है, उधर नहीं जाना, उधर ही जाओ. So approach what you find repulsive. Help those, third point, help those who you think you cannot help, or who you think you would not like to help, कि यार इससे तो दूर ही रहे, मतलब नहीं करनी हेल्प इसकी, दूसरे की कर लेंगे बट इसकी नहीं करनी, like that. So approach those and help those. Then fourth point, anything you are attached to, give that, give it away. So again that expands you. So mother also says that when you step back from desire, it gives you joy. So again in resonance. And fifth point is again on the topic that we were discussing, go to the places that scare you. So अभी आप जो बात कर रहे थे कि उस गली में नहीं जाते क्योंकि वो इतनी सेफ नहीं है, तो उसी गली में जाना है, ये हमारा काम है. और अब मुझे लगता है कि slowly, as we grow and progress, reading all these things and through life experiences, there comes a time then when we feel ready to face it, कि हाँ कर भी सकते हैं, क्यों नहीं. एक टाइम था जब नहीं सोचते थे उसके बारे में, बट अब वो दो गलियों में लगता है कि नहीं, जो ज्यादा चैलेंजिंग लग रही है उधर जाते हैं. Again, because that gives us lots of expansion, and it also what we were discussing connects us with the universe and reveals to us that universe is not a bad place to be. It is friendly, and it can be friendly if we allow it to be. So anything more here, anyone, on these three reasons, or shall we go ahead? Because I'm just going ahead then.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Hi, ma'am. Yeah, so about this fear, I always have a question. Like, I think 2 weeks ago I was in Badrinath, and there is a mountain behind the temple, Badrinath temple, and then there is a small place near the on the mountain. So I had plans to go there around 4:30 or 5 o'clock in the evening. So the locals said that don't go right now. It'll get dark by the time you come back. And some said there are also bears on that mountain. So but I had nothing better to do. So I was by myself. So I said, okay, maybe I'll just go a little faster, and I'll also come before it gets dark. So what I did is I went up there, and while I was going there, I was telling, like, had this thought in my head, and I was telling mother, am I being brave or am I being foolish here? What am I exactly doing? But because I thought I cannot really differentiate between those two. So I said, you take care. I really don't know. Maybe this is really foolish to go there, unknown place. You take care. So I went up there, and then when I was coming down, there was a sadhu who said he doesn't talk. He just like ishara kara ki come down with me, and I came down with him perfectly. Uh, but I sometimes ask myself, man, that where should I draw a line, or should I even draw a line about being foolish or about being trying to overcome my fear.
देखो जगन, मैं तुम्हारी मौत का कारण नहीं बनना चाहती. Yeah, so I would not say anything. क्योंकि अगर मैंने ये बोल दिया कि जाओ और तुमने मान लिया, तो फिर, और अगर ये सेशन सुन लिया तुम्हारे मम्मी पापा ने, तो गड़बड़ हो जाएगी.
Not in if not in these things, but again, not just about physically getting hurt.
Yeah.
Choice in the future about changing career or just dropping what I have right now and
I
saying
think we all get to know all these things, whether we have been foolish or whether we have been brave, only through experimenting and
Yeah.
hitting and trial, right? है ना, तो कोई फॉर्मूला तो है नहीं.
Right.
तो आपको आपने सोचा कि मैं ब्रेव था, बट एक्चुअली में वो बाद में रेट्रोस्पेक्ट में पता लगा कि अरे ये तो फुलिश था, तो बढ़िया, इट इज योर इंडिविजुअल एक्सपीरियंस, राइट? है ना, किसी की दी गई सीख नहीं है, वो आपका अपना विसरल बॉडीली एक्सपीरियंस है. सो आई थिंक गो विद दैट. मतलब इसमें तो कोई, देयर इज नो फॉर्मूला. At times we may realize that, oh, that was so foolish of me to do that, and next time I won't want to do that. At times we may realize that, oh, मैंने सोचा था foolish है but निकला brave, right?
Yes.
हाँ, तो ये तो बिल्कुल, it's totally individual experience, and yeah, these individual experiences have a lot of power. They are the ones which give us true wisdom. So go with your inner wisdom and guidance and एक्सपेरिमेंट. ज्यादा से ज्यादा क्या होगा, मर जाओगे, ठीक है, तो एक और जन्म हो जाएगा, क्या प्रॉब्लम है ना? प्रॉब्लम क्या है हमें एक्सपेरिमेंट में? हमको प्रॉब्लम क्यों है, मुझे ये नहीं समझ में आता.
Yeah.
रिस्की जीवन जीने में क्यों प्रॉब्लम है हमको?
Yeah.
हाँ, तो ज्यादा से ज्यादा मैक्सिमम वर्स्ट पॉसिबल ये होगा कि मर जाएंगे. ठीक है, मर जाएंगे तो हमें पता है कि जन्म होना है, नहीं हुआ तो बढ़िया है, चलो ठीक है, खत्म, जो भी स्टोरी थी.
Yeah.
Yeah, so no
But
big
I,
deal.
I think there is one thing I also try to see is it my is it my ego? Like, am I really thinking this through with my ego, or is it really I'm trusting the divine? So there is that factor also. So yeah, like,
सुनो,
yeah,
ये भी
thank
करते
you.
हुए पता लगेगा, ये भी जो आपने बोला ना
Hmm.
कि क्या मेरी वो ईगो थी और वाज इट द डिवाइन विल दैट वाज एक्टिंग थ्रू मी.
Yeah, yeah.
ये भी आपको कर करके ही पता लगेगा, क्योंकि बिना करे नहीं पता लगता हमको.
Yeah.
बिना, है ना,
Yeah,
मतलब.
because because if I had not done that, I would have missed a very beautiful sight. So I'm glad I did that, but that, yeah, thank you.
हाँ, एक्चुअली वही है, मतलब द थिंग्स दैट वी कॉल अवर फेलियर्स, आई थिंक दे एक्चुअली वी नीड टू चेंज दैट नेम, क्योंकि वहीं से हम सबसे ज्यादा सीखते हैं, अपनी गलतियों से सबसे ज्यादा हमारी ग्रोथ होती है ना. एज श्री अरबिंदो शेयर्स दैट आवर एरर्स आर हिज स्टेप्स ऑन द वे. तो फिर डरना काहे का है? गलतियां बिल्कुल करें, बिंदास गलतियां करो, क्योंकि जितनी ब्लंडर्स करोगे आप लाइफ में, उतना ज्यादा हमें ग्रोथ मिलती है, एक्सपोनेंशियल ग्रोथ मिलती है. एंड पीपल हु हैव रियली ट्रूली लिव्ड देयर लाइफ, they, if you really consult them, they would never say that don't try it, they will say कि go ahead, like march ahead. क्या डर खाया जा रहा है तुमको, है ना? मरोगे तो मरोगे, ठीक है, लेकिन ऐसे घुट घुट के जीना भी तो मरने के समान ही है. तो और करके पता लगता है आपको कि ईगो थी कि डिवाइन विल थी, धीरे धीरे पता लगता है इन रेट्रोस्पेक्ट. तो बिना करे तो कुछ नहीं पता लगता, सिर्फ एक गोल 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 दिमाग ही घूमता रहता है, बिना बात की एनर्जी ड्रेन आउट होती है. तो यस, वी हैव टू प्लंज.
The very fact that we are talking about ego, that means I understood that yes, there is ego in me. So that itself is the development or progress. If I make my progress card myself, so I say this is self progress that I recognize. Now, how to get rid of totally and all that is a different thing. But how much I have moved ahead on this line, so that we are not measuring every day, neither we want to. So this is moving on the positive path only, always positive path only. And as far as that experiment, what you had been talking, and what Mr. Jagan has done. So when Vivekananda first time went to Ramakrishna Paramahansa, he thought he appears to be a mad person. That old man is looking like a mad person. So he asked him that, have you seen God? So he immediately answered spontaneously, yes, like I am seeing you, and much more than that. He added much more than that, as I am seeing you, and much more than that. So then he received something. This is the first time somebody is telling that yes, I have met somebody, and very spontaneously he's saying. So he had somebody. Then he says that I cannot touch any metal or this, that, and all. So he wanted to do experiment. He, without his knowledge, when Ramakrishna Paramahansa was not there in that room, under the bed he has put some coin. And when he came back, and Ramakrishna Paramahamsa was jumping as if he's getting shocked from that bed. So then everybody was scared that what has happened and all. He never jumped like this and all. So then they took out everything, the bed sheet, bed cover, and things like that, and they found this coin. And Swami Vivekananda agreed that yes, he has put. So he appreciated, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa has appreciated that to whom you consider as a guru or whatever may be guide or whatever may be, he says you must judge. Before you judge, don't accept anything blindly. So so and so has told that he is a good man and this, that, and don't get into this. You, whatever experience, knowledge, and whatever you have, with that you must judge every day. So similarly, we have to judge every time. We have to do experiment, and with that experiment only we'll come to know that whether what I did was right at that point of time or not. Yes, there will be a negative answer also will come, but hardly matters. As you said, and that is also a progress actually. That pain and sufferings also gives us the one step ahead of that path. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so cultivating, if we are inclined now, if we are convinced, then when the moment we have a thought full of insecurity, a kind of a feeling which tells me that, oh, the world is unsafe, immediately the moment I become conscious of it, I can transmute it into saying something which is very affirmative, that I know that I'm taken care and guided by the mother, and things are in mother knows what is happening to me and I'm taken care of. So whatever resonates with us, we can affirm and immediately change that negative loop into a conscious one, positive one. So cultivating spontaneous trust in the divine. Right now we have spontaneous trust in our negative thoughts and feelings, and we have to change that. So it requires, as we all of us were sharing, requires a lot of effort on my part every moment. If you look into things sufficiently deeply, this is the true reason. There are people who do not even know that that exists, but one could tell them in other words, you have no faith in your destiny, or you know nothing about grace. Anything, whatever, you may put it as you like, but the root of the matter is a lack of trust. We have all seen people, we may be one of them, people who just cannot trust the world. They have to put, kind of detectives everywhere, cameras everywhere. They just can't trust the world. They just know that the world is a very scary, bad place. And again, they can't help it because we were talking about conditioning. हमारी कंडीशनिंग जब खराब हो जाती है तो ऐसा हाल हमारा होता है. सो rather than feeling aversive, we have to empathize that I have also been in such a place where slowly, I felt that world is not a safe place. We all have been in each other places. So knowing that each one of us, we have exchanged roles with each other, and we all have phases or stages of life that we have to go through, and but knowing that how much it makes us suffer, because when all the time I'm just thinking that how to make myself safe and the world is not a safe place, to move to a better location, how to protect this body that is me, it is very uneasy. It just keeps us drained of energy all the time, and we have nothing left to truly do anything meaningful. So knowing that it is not a very easy place to be always concerned and obsessed about this little self. So there are people, mother says, that they don't even know that that exists, that we are in the lap of the divine. They are not aware of that. And whatever you may put it as you like, but the root of the matter is lack of trust. Now these people will have a lot of trust in their ideas or suggestions of how can I make myself secure. So they also have trust, but they have trust in those आइडियाज एंड ओपिनियंस कि अच्छा पढ़ लिया खूब सारा, ये नॉलेज वो नॉलेज गेन कर ली, दिस इज द बेस्ट वन, लेट्स बाय दिस बेस्ट, you know, whatever, purifier, mask, or you know, whatever makes us afraid, right? Or a camera. Hmm? So we see that trust is there, but it is placed on fleeting things, ephemeral things, and that doesn't make us feel safe no matter how hard we try. So matter is a lack of trust on the divine, on thinking that we are taken care of. And then mother shares the remedy. Always mother shares the remedy. If one always had the feeling that it is the best that happens in all circumstances, one would not be afraid. And I think we go back to the beginning where Shardaji was sharing that we actually can put it, write it down and put it on the wall, because for us it is not a natural habit. Knowing that it is the best that happens right now, I may be suffering because my old habit has to tear apart, but I know that this is happening for good. I know that this is happening for good. You know? So having the trust that all circumstances, no matter how aversive we may be to those circumstances, they are happening for a higher good. Then mother says we would not be afraid. So we have to cultivate it because we don't have it by default, most of us. And if we are convinced, then we will put effort to cultivate it. If we are not convinced, that then there is no point. But if we have reached a point where we are convinced that I must cultivate this affirmative, you know, positivity, or this faith that I am taken care of, then we will do that. We do that. You know. If things benefit us, then we do that. Yeah. So, yes, any last comments on reflections or questions, anyone?
When you were sharing about, how we have our own ways of feeling safe, how we find ways, this right to owning a gun, which is a very debatable right in US, right? They have this thing that in certain states, I think almost all, I could be wrong, you can own a gun to protect yourself. But now one of the major things that goes against the country, like not goes against, but when people are wondering where to go, this is one of the things because, there have been so many incidents where a child got that gun, they took them to school and they ended up killing a lot of children, like, those gun crimes in schools. So this is me protecting myself, right? Like I don't know where to stop. Like once I begin, the fear, the nature of fear is such that I don't know where to end. And yet there's so many examples of how, again, say if there are cameras, how the same footages have been used against you, sold on media, whatever, whatever. And yet in my desire to protect what all I have done, what all we do, it's very interesting. And just one last thing, when we were talking about fear, we were talking about how you said how, Aurobindo talks about that choice every moment. So the other day I was reading something, it was on being vigilant. And mother had said that being vigilant does not just means to be alert to things where you're going down. It means to be alert in general and not to lose any opportunity for progress, for resisting a temptation, for mastering something, mastering yourself better, for any progress. So one thing is don't go down, that is vigilance. And second is how can I use it? How can I use this? So this thing about not to lose any opportunity to resist the temptation, for example. A lot of times we feel, "Yes, it's not that bad, right? Let me do it. Like, but the wordings was so strong that it was like that every time I'm choosing that, I'm going down, I'm going down, I'm going down. Like, I feel I'm being consistent, right? That if I've done something 10 times, or 5,000 times? What would happen if I do it 5,001 times? But that's again taking me further down. That's a big revelation that we have seen before, nothing new, and yet how sometimes some things hit you again. So just wanted to share that. I'll share the code on the group later.
Yeah, very important. Thank you. Yes. Resisting a temptation, it's so, again, I think where were we reading that? Maybe in Inspirational Life? Yeah, Inspirational Life, Pavitrada, where we were reading that to abstain, Sri Aurobindo was sharing that when we abstain, again, going in line with resisting the temptation, then we have a purer atmosphere. And I think we all have felt that purer atmosphere whenever we have been able to resist any little temptation. We have felt it, but वही होता है कि क्योंकि पुराने टेस्ट होते हैं, वी हैव ओल्डर टेस्ट, तो इतनी आसानी से हर बार हम नहीं अपने आप को रेजिस्ट करवा पाते. बट इवन इफ ग्रेजुअल हैपनिंग, में 10 में से अगर 2 टाइम रेजिस्ट करना शुरू कर दिया और तीसरी बार करने की इच्छा शुरू हो चुकी है, कि नहीं अब तीसरी बार भी करना है, नहीं अच्छा लगना शुरू हो गया, दैट प्योरर एटमॉस्फेयर, that actually really gives us a lot of kind of purity, and also a kind of a coming back home, like you are home and you are with yourself and you're content in that purer atmosphere. So yes, I really resonate with what you shared, and yeah, always nice to hear it again and again, and requires a lot of courage, because क्योंकि easy तो यही है कि जो पुराना pleasure है मुझे पता, वो क्यों ना ले लूं. easy तो वही लगता है, बट अगर पुराना ले लेके थक चुके हैं, बहुत किया है, तो फिर मन करता है कि नहीं यार, बहुत किया है. एंड वी ऑल्सो सी दैट इट मेक्स अस डल, that purana pleasure, it makes us dull, while being what you were sharing, that if we are vigilant and are able to step back from temptation, it actually makes us alert and on our own, kind of holding the fort. Not saying that the ego is holding the fort, but we are home, kind of, we are here. Yes, gives us strength rather than takes away. So any last comments before we end? Anyone on anything related or whatever we have read? So if not anything, maybe if one of you can read the whole thing for us, that would be nice before we end.
Yeah, Monica,
Yes.
I'll read.
Yes, Charuji. Now that you have stuck the gong, or kya hota hai, singing bowl, tang, please do. Yes.
Why does one feel afraid? I suppose it is because one is egoistic. There are three reasons. First, an excessive concern about one's security. Sorry, lot of background noise today. Next, what one does not know always gives an uneasy feeling, which is translated in the consciousness by fear. And above all, one does not have the habit of a spontaneous trust in the divine. If you look into things sufficiently deeply, this is the true reason. There are people who do not even know that exists, but one could tell them, in other words, you have no faith in your destiny, or you know nothing about grace. Anything, whatever, you may put it as you like. But the root of the matter is a lack of trust. If one always had the feeling that it is the best that happens in all circumstances, one would not be afraid. Thank you so much, Monica. Beautiful. Maybe the whole passage we have to write it and stick it.
Yeah, I think that holds true for all these words.
Yeah.
Write it, it kind of goes within. Otherwise, we forget actually. But it's
Yeah.
good to read again and again, because yeah.
So good. Thank you.
Okay, so then we can maybe end here for today. and take a moment of silence and dedicate, share all the goodness, all the merit with sentient beings near and far. May we have the courage to face the things that we so far have not the courage to face. May we have the strength, the willingness, the inclination to always go towards our expansion. May we have true happiness and all the causes of true happiness, and may all the suffering be taken away from us and all the causes of suffering too be taken away. Thank you.